Bengals fall to the Eagles. We'll talk about this coming up next on the Wincinnati podcast.
It's an exciting time to be a Bengals fan.
Welcome to the Wincinnati podcast. I feel like I heard on that intro that I feel like that was me yesterday to this game. But thank you guys. Welcome in. My partner Zimothy is here. Zim, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing better. Yesterday, honestly, just our own personal thing. To have that lady block and not try to sabotage everything that I ever tweet was a very refreshing Sunday for me. That's my own personal thing. As far as the Bengals go, I don't know, man. Like, it's like I know that they're not a good team, but the belief in my mind is like they'll be a good team, but they just don't ever become a good team. And I don't know, man. Like it's almost like it'd be kind of cliche to be like, man, it just feels unreal. Like, nah, it's real. But man, I mean, with this schedule, who would have thought we'd be right here, 3-5?
That's the crazy part is the schedule. Like insane, bro. I did not think that we were gonna be here. I've never been through a roller coaster of emotions that I went through yesterday. And when I say that, it's like I started out the game confident, like I'm posting amigos, y'all in trouble memes, like gifts during the game, like Burrow comes out on fire.
Boy.
Like I'm like, yeah, is this gonna be, the first complete game? And then
I'm jealous. I used to could do that. I wish I could do that. They be waiting for me to tweet that. Like, I wish. I'm jealous that you had the ability to actually.
I mean, it's nothing to be jealous of, bro. Once that second half came, man. But obviously, you guys, we're gonna get into the game. We're gonna talk about the Bengals versus Eagles. This is usually our recap show, so we're gonna go through special teams. We'll go through the defense. We'll go through the offense. We'll go through coaching. So we're gonna recap it all coming up next.
I'm really the best in the league. You know that. Y'all didn't respect.
And once again, this show is brought to you by BETUS. So shout out to them for sponsoring the show. If you are watching, make sure to give this a like. Also hit that subscribe button. We appreciate that. If you're on Twitter, make sure that you follow our personal Twitter profiles at New Stripe City, at Zimhude. Appreciate that. Now let's get into it. We got some business taken care of. Let's get into it, bro. Special teams. Special teams has been up and down this season after a great special teams performance last week, mostly in part to the Charlie Jones touchdown. Special teams, once again, is a struggle. We talk about the missed field goals from McPherson. That's become a theme. We have joked on here that we could call him Food Stamp Mac. He has been, let's just keep it a buck, he's been Food Stamp Mac this season. After he's already signed an extension with us, I just don't know where his head is at. I know Zac Taylor kind of made an excuse for the special teams, like, oh, the whole system isn't right in terms of the holder and the snaps and all of that. Like, I don't understand how we're this far from a situation where we've had botch kicks and stuff before, and it's still an issue. Like, is it that Evan McPherson just isn't the guy that we thought he is? Is it a systematic thing? Like, I don't know if anybody examines their holder and snapper and all of this process and tries to just significantly all the time blame it on them. And then to me, the decision for him to keep kicking these 50-yard field goals, bro, I'm not understanding it. Like, you have Joe Burrow, like, not that you don't have a good kicker, like, I get that part, But to me, like, I need to see these 50-yard field goals when we're trying to win a game or something like that. But we've seen it backfire in those circumstances. Go back to the Baltimore game. So, like, for me, bro, like, I don't understand, like, what's going on with Money Mac this season. What were your thoughts on special teams this week?
I thought it was crazy because we put an emphasis in like our pregame show talking about the special teams and the importance of special teams. I hate that they put him in some of those spots, but then I always think like, well, I mean, it's a 50-yard kick, and to pay a guy like that, and based off of what we've come off of in the 2021 run and a good portion of 2022, he was pretty good as well. 2023, a little bit of missteps, but it's certainly worthy of paying considering we're coming from Fat Randy. So part of me says, the Madden player in me says, go for it. Or whatever. And then, we're going to talk about a fourth down play later. You can go for it.
Yeah.
And you could not get it and put yourself in a spot. And I thought yesterday that game didn't have to be that bad. Bengals down 7 on their own 37, 40-yard line, whatever. 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Yeah. And then you go for it. And when you take those chances and like say you don't, kick that 50-yard, 54-yard field goal and you go for it and you don't get it, that's the caveat to it. So it's like, I don't know what's going on with him. I think that when it's time to hit him, this is like my blind faith, I think, in it. I think when it's time to hit him, like a game winner or something like that, which he didn't make earlier, I think if the conditions and all these different things are right or whatever, I think they'll be okay. I'm not as worried about him. I never, and the reason why I think is when he was signed, I posed this to Spaces. This is why I don't like going to Spaces that much anymore. Is because when I was telling people, I said I think he's like a top 10 fringe kicker. Like, to me, he's good enough, right? But I think a lot of people adopted the Money Mac thing, and I hinted at this on the show. I said it several different times. I'm like, bro, there's about 8 kickers literally before he was bad this season that I would argue if it's like cool. The dude from the Texans, Aubrey, of course, from the Cowboys. You can name like 8 solid kickers that.
What about the kicker for the Steelers?
Boswell, yeah. So yeah, I mean, like all of these guys, there's a long list of kickers, and people were like, yeah, Money Mac's like top 3. I'm like, see, my expectations aren't that. I'm not expecting him to hit from 54 continuously coming into the season. I think he should be able to hit them when the time is right, and then consistently hitting 50-yard field goals or that. But coming into the season, I voiced this a bunch of times. I just wasn't as high on him, so my expectations weren't as high. I think it's other people. That's not an excuse on why he should be missing 54-yard field goals, because honestly, he's got the leg of a 60-yarder.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm looking at the numbers from Money Mac, I guess. In October alone, bro, he's been 0 of 3 from 50 yards. I don't know where the struggles are coming from. It looks like he's been 3 for 6 on the season. His longest one has been 56, so he was able to make that one. He's missed the extra point this season. He's 20 or 21. The other thing that I'll point, though, to is, and a lot of people are talking about this, is another caveat or another alternative to going for it, like you said, on the fourth down, is punting the ball. Like, that's another thing that you can do when you have one of the best punters statistically right now in the NFL. The Bengals have decided not to do that. I just don't understand, like, if the punting thing is a weapon, like you can, coffin corner somebody like Jalen Hurts in this offense, why not do it instead of letting them start from like the 40-yard line? That's the only thing that I can say too is why aren't they utilizing the punt game? Because I think you said it, like they haven't punted in a while. They didn't punt in this game at all.
So let me ask you this. You didn't like the decision to go for it on fourth down?
I like the decision to go for it. If you're talking about the Jamar play?
Yeah.
The Jamar play, yeah. But on this one, I felt like the Money Mac missed field goal one, I wanted to go for it on that fourth down as well.
Okay.
I wanted to go for it just because of the way that the momentum was going. I felt like if you were able to get, a first down at that point, Joe Burrow was cooking. Like, we're coming off the first drive. So
that was after the Burton kick, right? I mean, after the Burton play, right? They didn't do anything after the big Burton play.
I'm not exactly sure. You're talking about the 40-yard pass or whatever?
Yeah, that's the same drive that they missed the money match.
Chat, let us know in the chat, because your memory might be better than mine. Let us know if that play was right after the Burton thing. I'm not sure. I just remember like wanting to go for it. I know it was about a 4th and 7. But I just felt like at that point, the Bengals offense kind of looked unstoppable. And when they made the decision to kick the field goal instead, it just set, in my opinion, them up. Now,
4th and 7 is crazy, though.
I probably wouldn't have liked a punt in that situation, but that would probably, given the way that Money Mac has been lately, would have been my second choice.
Then you can't pay him, and you shouldn't roster him if he can't hit a 54-yard field goal.
It is what it is now, bro. Like, I don't like, this might be the worst season that he's had. Like, I know that his second season he started out struggling a little bit, but like the 0 for 3 from 50, like to do that right after you just had him do that in the Ravens game, like I kind of was like, bro, I don't know if I'm putting all my eggs in that basket for Money Mac.
I feel like, a lot of what Coach says at the press conference is Coach speak, but there is something to say. I'm not the highest on Money Mac, but in that sequence, 4th and 7, like say it was like 4th and 1, I probably would entertain going for it because, like you said, they got momentum going. I think that was the sequence where Burton did get off a little bit. You got a little something going. 4th and 7, I can't go for it. For one, it's too risky, and then 2, I am trusting them to kick that because I need points at that point, especially given early in the game, the defense was playing pretty well. So I'm thinking worst case scenario, if I miss the field goal, like my defense is going to hold.
And is this the mindset of Zac Taylor or?
No, that's me.
So you don't think on a 4th and 7 with Jamar Chase that you can get that?
Hell no.
Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow?
This is not
bad. If we were saying like 4th and 10.
No, 4th and 7.
You don't think so? 4th and 7, bro. I think that's like.
How many teams have gone for a 4th and 7 in the NFL in the last decade? That's a crazy.
What was the Ravens when the Ravens were on their own 30? What was it? 4th down and like 5?
Nah.
Like 4th and 7 isn't a lot, bro. Like a lot of teams go for it on like 4th and 5, 4th and 6, 4th and 7. Like if you're saying like 4th and 9, 4th and 10, 4th and double digits, sure, but 4th and 7 should be a Jamar Chase slant pass for a first down. Like that's nothing for Jamar Chase. That's nothing.
We can't even get a 4th and 1
because that's
like what?
That's different though and that's one of the issues that I kind of had with them with the 4th and 1 because they're super predictable. Like when you don't have more than one receiver on the field and you got all of these tight ends and heavy people, the defense knows what's coming. But when you have Jamar Chase and all of these guys spread out, they don't know. Like to me, I'm going to Jamar Chase. Like, what's the point of calling him the best receiver in the league and Joe Burrow the best quarterback in the league if I don't trust Burrow and Chase to get me a 4th and 7? Like Andy Dalton got a 4th and 12 to Tyler Boyd, and we're talking about we can't give Joe Burrow a 4th and 7.
I mean, Andy Dalton had to go for it. It was the end of the game.
Yeah, but he got it. Like, he got that to Tyler Boyd. Like, we got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and they were cooking at the beginning of the game. Like, you could even probably get Gesicki on that. Like, the way that Joe was cooking in that game, bro, he hit so many different receivers. I think that they would have got it, bro. I wouldn't think twice. Like, at the end of the day, you end up in the same position. Like, if Joe Burrow if it's an incomplete, just like it's a missed field goal, it's right there. I'm trusting Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase way before I'm trusting Evan McPherson from 50 on 4th and 7. Now, if it's like 4th and 9, 4th and 10, 4th and 12, then yeah, like, all right, cool. Let Evan go out there or let Rico go out there and do it. But if I don't believe that the best duo in the league can get it, I don't know, bro.
I just think it's way too risky to go for a 4th and 7 and you don't have to. if the game was at a spot where you're clawing for your life, last sequence, like the example you gave, like Dalton or whatever, like, yeah, like, sure.
I
But
feel like, so this is my thing.
hold
You got,
on.
go ahead, go ahead.
You just gave us a lot. Hold on.
Go ahead.
So, for me, it's just nothing that you could convince me to say that will make me go for 4th and 7 in a game that's still in your grasp and you have a chance to go get 3 on the board. I think the disconnect is your faith in McPherson. I still would try that same kick, tomorrow. Like, after the fact, I wasn't thinking he was going to miss it. I wasn't. I don't think he's a great kicker, but I wasn't thinking he was going to miss it. To me, a 50-yard field goal is kind of like a gimme a little bit, and I feel like they were going good enough. I'm not forced to go 4th and 7 like that early. Like that, I don't know. If it pays off, you look like $1 million. If you don't, everybody afterwards is going to be saying, "Why the hell did you go for it on 4th and 7?" Like, that's just the reality.
What's the difference between that and a 50-yard field goal? Like, that's not an easy field goal to make.
50 yards for Evan McPherson. 50 should be automatic, bro. 50 should be automatic. Your point is that 50 is not automatic for him, right?
Yeah, it's not.
And so 50 yards to me for a kicker in 2024, bro, these boys are booming. Like, 50 yards should be automatic. Like, you're not going to get that many opportunities to kick a field goal 40 and less, because generally, like, you know what I mean? You get in the red zone, like, I don't know. Like
if it's like somebody just said, if this is Justin Tucker, yeah, like 50 yard is automatic, but for your everyday NFL kicker, like 50 yards is not an easy field goal to make.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like 50 yards is like normal now. So I don't know. Well, let's agree to disagree. What's the next topic that we have? I'm not, because I mean, I thought that I haven't even thought about that until you just said that. I honestly thought you was talking about the call on 4th and 1.
The 4th and 1 call was
to me,
crazy.
a lot of people were talking about
that. That call was crazy. We're gonna get into that one for sure.
Okay. So yeah, so that okay, all right, we're going defense. All right.
Yeah, let's go defense. So defense, I'm gonna let you start it out because I said a lot on the last one. So your thoughts on their defense?
I thought the Bengals defense in the first half of this football game, they played good enough, right? But the problem is the Bengals pretty much came out there with haymakers, gave them like their best shot, and the score was tied 10-10. But my ultimate, this is all of these conversations around the Bengals, they're all about perspective. And so my perspective on the offense is if they don't score 24, 27 plus on any given week, I'm always looking at the defense, right? I'm always looking at the offense. Like, what the hell are you doing? This is the $55 million quarterback. You got Jamar Chase healthy, fully healthy offensive line. I know Trent Brown is out, but like fully healthy offensive line. I know T. Higgins is out, but bro, I expect them to score 20-something. The Bengals defense did what they had to do. Early in this game, Saquon, I thought, had some good runs in there. They got their 7 with an elbow that went over the line, and they got it right at the end of the half, right? But for most of the game, the defense stopped the Eagles from not even scoring in the first quarter of the game. So now it's 10-10, and the Bengals, like, the offense, that's all you can muster up is 10 points, and you ain't playing? We go to the second half. The Bengals, this is one thing about, like, taking the ball first. This is another game where I did not want the ball first. I don't know who won the toss or whatever. I was kind of, like, not afraid, but I don't want to put ourselves in a spot where the Bengals are, like, on the defense and they're sitting there and they're forced to go make a stop on a team that has an offensive line like that. I didn't like that setup to begin with. I love the fact that they scored first, so essentially the Eagles are returning that, those points coming out. But I just don't trust this Bengals defense. I don't like our secondary. I've said that plenty of times. I don't trust DJ Turner against any of these guys. I don't trust Cam Taylor-Britt. I don't know what Lou's scheming up that will make him play so off of these guys in those key third down situations. I'm so sick of watching them in cover 3 and all of these different zone concepts on big third downs. A.J. Brown got a first down where he just stumbled back into it. He had another one where he caught it, and I think he was surprised that nobody was even near him. They're playing so far off. You got Trey Hendrickson in coverage. You have no pass rush at all. The one that people are talking about with battle where the ball's up so far, Trey Hendrickson runs like 30 yards down the field trying to loop around, can't get around because Fred Johnson got him in a box. You got the defense doing absolutely nothing and launches the ball up there, and everybody's like, Jordan Battle got cooked. I'm like, the defensive line got cooked. Where is the pressure? There was no pressure throughout the whole entire game, and it instantly reminded me of that Commanders game, the Mike White game, where they're just letting this dude just go, do whatever he wants. And then people were like, man, we should blitz. They don't got the – you got to really pay attention to what, like, Zac Taylor says at a press conference and how they really talk. He was like, yeah, if you blitz – he said this today. If you blitz, it leaves you a little lean in the secondary. That's code word for our secondary can't cover anything. They're not good enough. And a lot of people are going to blame the scheme. Why didn't Luke blitz? They don't got the horses on the back end, bro. I don't think our secondary is – I think our safety room – has the potential to be really good if they play like the young guys like Dejon and you pair them up with Battle and different things like that. An older Von Bell and stuff like that, it's not it. It's one of the worst safety groups in the NFL when it's playing like that. Geno Stone can't really tackle. He can play the deep thirds, cool, whatever. But the cornerback room, Taylor Britt is too up and down, and DJ Turner is too small. Mike Hilton, the crazy thing is, we don't talk about Mike Hilton enough. Mike Hilton might be the best player on defense outside of Trey Hendrickson. Every single game, he comes out there and makes impact plays in those spots. And constantly, every single week, he's the highest grade Bengal on defense. BJ Hill was up there in the top 5 this past week, but Mike Hilton consistently makes impact plays that you could see. Nobody else on the defense makes those type of impact plays. And if this guy, Trey Hendrickson, is who I say he is, I got to be the first one to come on and say, Fred Johnson, yeah, he got a couple chips to help. I rewatched the game. But he put him in a box. And I'm sitting here telling everybody Trey Hendrickson is one of the best rushers in the NFL, bro. He did nothing. Myles Murphy, I didn't see him at all. I haven't seen Sheldon Rankins outside of the one sack that he had in Giants game. I haven't seen him do anything. There's no pressure. Chris Jenkins was pretty good against the run. Guys are pretty good against the run, good enough. But ultimately, that was my main thing to me is like they just don't do enough pressure. They're not physical enough, and they look like a JV team getting off the bus every time that we see a team that's varsity up front.
3 total pressures in this game for the Bengals defense. That's one of the lowest pressure rates of the season. Like you said, Fred Johnson had Trey Hendrickson in a phone booth. Fred Johnson allowed just 1 pressure on 22 blocking snaps against the Bengals, according to Next Gen Stats. Trey Hendrickson had just 1 pressure on 13 snaps against Johnson. So obviously, like Zim is saying, you do the math on that. About 9 of them had to be double teams or chip blocks and stuff like that on Trey Hendrickson. But the issue is what the issue has been for this Bengals defense. That's why they drafted Myles Murphy in the first round. They don't have anybody with a semblance of pass rush on this defense outside of Trey Hendrickson. It is literally a Trey Hendrickson dependent pass rush scheme that they have. They haven't had anyone since Larry Ogunjobi that's been able to also get any kind of pressure on the quarterback. You might get a BJ Hill sack every now and then, but you don't get anything from this pass rush. This is a problem that we've already known. This is why when people are calling me crazy for saying, yeah, bro, the Bengals should go and get the edge rusher from the Raiders, like, oh, that's just a pipe dream. Yeah, it might be a pipe dream, but it's a real problem. They don't have anybody to pair with Trey Hendrickson as it stands right now. And Myles Murphy is a great prospect, but right now they're not giving him snaps. They're not getting him on the field to be an impact. We're watching his snaps being eaten by Sam Hubbard's. We're watching guys not even getting rotated in, which has been another issue. Sometimes you don't even, like they just started, I believe last week in the Cleveland game, moving Trey Hendrickson around the line, and dude has been here for 3 seasons? The pass rush was non-existent. Like Zim is saying, the secondary is suspect. You got guys running wide open. You're calling 3rd and long plays with zone defense against guys like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, stuff that just really doesn't make sense. You give up 27 points in the second half, The Bengals right now, according to rankings in football, in second half points per game, they are tied for 30th, dog. They are letting teams do whatever they want in the second half, and I'm not understanding where it's coming from. I don't know if it's a personnel issue. I don't know. Well, I know it's a personnel issue when it comes to the pass rush because you don't have somebody there. Sheldon Rankins was a waste of money. You don't have anybody to really play nose tackle other than a draft prospect that you have. You're replacing good players with prospects. And at the end of the day, you can't expect name brand performance from great value like players. Like, what are you doing? Like, how are you thinking? And I love Jackson McKinley, right? McKinley Jackson, excuse me. He's not DJ Reader, bro. Like what are we doing where we take these guys and throw them in and we expect them to be that? And right now, it doesn't look like the Bengals have a clear plan. I watched Kansas City earlier trade for an edge rusher. They're literally 5-0, 6-0. We are 3-5. We have been under 500, and we're acting like we're over 600, and we have a bowl, and we don't have to. We can sit on our hands and not do anything. We're acting like we don't have issues in our secondary. When it comes to the safety position, we don't know what the hell we're doing. Von Bell is out there looking cooked. I'm just gonna keep it a buck right now. Like, and early on, I was defending the Von Bell stuff. I can't defend it now. The communication doesn't matter when he's like moving slow as hell on the field and getting killed every single play. And the crazy part about it is they started this game off playing well. They held the Eagles to 10 points. They did their job. It's the second half that has been an issue for this team. And I do think that there are some good players on defense, like Zim said. Mike Hilton is out there making plays. They don't have leaders on defense. They just don't right now. There's no leaders out there on the defense. There's nobody being able to hold them accountable. And as a result of the offense not playing well, it's just a chain reaction of the defense being worn out and susceptible to all of these plays. I'm getting tired of seeing teams score within 4 minutes. Like, even when the Bengals were cooking on the first drive, that took 10 minutes.
Right.
Like, the Eagles are stepping on the field and scoring in 4 minutes. Like, that's insane to me, bro. Like,
see, I like when they had the long drive and kind of held the time. I felt like that was the best way to keep them off the field, though. So,
for sure.
But there's a couple points I want to go back to. You talked about I want to start from one of your main points, Myles Murphy at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
He only had 23 snaps total. He only had 7 pass rush snaps in this past game, right?
Right.
You said something, I think, and I don't want to misquote you. You were saying like something about his development or something like that. The biggest issue is that that's a first round pick. You know what I mean? It's like it kind of reminds me of the Dax Hill situation. You can't afford to miss on a first round pick. And if this guy is now getting snaps taken away from Osai, getting snaps taken away from Hubbard and all these guys like that, that's a major problem in itself. And that's a front office problem because there's no way a first round guy, now he's a couple of weeks coming back from the injury, he should be getting some type of pressure. And now they're just like, we don't even really like you on run defense for real. They only give him 7 pass rushing snaps. So that's a front office thing because he's not flashing at all. And then on the run that Hurts had, he takes a bad angle, takes the dive instead of going with the actual ball. Hurts goes right around him. You had some really good points, and I'm so mad I can't remember all of them. The other thing is you were talking about like McKinley Jackson and company, right?
Yep.
The Bengals kept 11 guys in the draft. So this is what it is. Right. It's not that. Why are they, like, what are they doing trotting this? This is the plan, you know what I mean? And it's a rebuild right in front of our eyes, honestly. And the other thing that I was going to say, and you got to play them. You got to play them. They need to play all the young guys and let Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase be the leaders, and it's just going to be that way. The other thing that you said, this is a real big point that I want everybody to catch, and we talked about this on the other show. You're saying, why are they sitting on their hands? The Bengals front office is saying, why the hell would we trade for anybody if we're 3-5? We might be candidates to go get Travis Hunter right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not in contention. See, we're in this mind frame that Bengals gonna come back and we're gonna do it. Bengals gonna win 7 out of 9. And I like that. And I'm one of those guys. But from a business front office standpoint, you would have had to win this game, and you would have had to show me that you were in contention to make me even risk that. I think the disconnect is, as fans, we think that we're something that we clearly currently right now are not. And that's my assessment of why they're sitting on their hands. If I'm going to end up having a top 10 draft pick, why would I be trading for anything? Like we're not that. You at this point, bro, we are who we are. We're 3-5. Like we could go back and be like, man, if we would have got that 4th and 16, if McPherson would, but that's over now. You're here, and we're a 3-5 team. And I believe in the team can still win some games. I think they're a 7-win team. I'm not trading for jack shit. If I'm the Bengals,
you're right.
You would? I mean, trading for what?
Yeah, I mean, if your goal is to compete this season, yes. If your goal is to, like, if you're the Cleveland Browns right now, sure, I'm not trading anybody. I'm probably having a fire sale. This is the Cincinnati Bengals, bro. Like, we came into this season expecting this team to make a playoff run. And, like, right now, 3-5, like, you got to do something, man. I'm seeing teams like the Jets, right? Like the Jets, maybe we end up like the Jets, right? But at least they're going down swinging. They trading for Devontae Adams. They're trying to work it out with Hassan Reddick and this and that because they're trying to show their fan base like, hey, we're not giving up. When you sit on your hands in a situation, I can take you sitting on your hands if you're over 500. That's cool. But what have you seen from this defense and this team to warrant like sitting on your hands? Like I just don't understand it. Like this is a roster that should at least, especially in a year where the AFC is weak, that's the other factor. Like if the Bengals were completely out of it, sure, mathematically eliminated, their chances are slim, sure. But right now, you look at the AFC East, like after the Bills, there's nobody. Like there's a lot of teams in the AFC right now that are cooked. Like technically the Bengals aren't dead, but are they going to make a move? I'm not going to sit here and hype people up like they will because they're not going to do it. But the other thing that we talked about, let the young guys play. Jordan Battle should not have 3 snaps, bro. Like what are we doing where Myles Murphy has 23 snaps because Sam Hubbard is the Cincinnati Kid? I don't give a damn if he's the Cincinnati Kid. I don't care. I need a pass rush. Like the Cincinnati Kid was part of the reason we had 3 pressures last night. Or last afternoon. Like it is what it is. I'm not gonna just completely go off on the defense because the offense has some smoke to get. But I think that you made some valid points. Like, are the Bengals actually gonna make a trade? No, they're probably not, because like you just said, they are thinking about draft picks. They are thinking about position. And to me, some of that stuff is stupid and outdated. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Like I'm not holding on to a 5th or 6th round pick if I can trade it for a player that's gonna help me now. And the Bengals kind of had that approach. They don't move up in the draft. They don't move up in the draft because they want to take a Charlie Jones. Like what sense does that make? If I have an impact player that's there, like a Tavondre Sweat or something like that, I'm taking the player where it's not as much of a risk. But it is what it is, bro.
Yeah, I don't think they're good at see, to me. All right, this is how I look at the trade deadline. Trade deadline trades are not to try to salvage. Trade deadlines are teams that are figuring that they're one player away from fixing a gaping, need.
Yeah.
The Bengals have too many needs. Like cornerback, edge, interior offensive line. They're not one Max Crosby could come to this team. Maybe
Max Crosby is a game changer, bro.
He is.
Him or Dexter Lawrence is a complete.
He is. And I was being fair to the argument. Say you gave up. The rumor is they want 2 firsts. The Bengals aren't going to do that.
Yeah,
but I just wanted to make the comment. Like the people that I was talking about trading, I made a whole list of it. It's
name somebody that's more realistic. Because
okay, so somebody more realistic would have been Josh Uche, right?
Yeah.
Josh Uche would go on to the Bengals. They don't have a health problem. So somebody snaps getting clipped. It might be the Cincinnati Kid. It might be Myles Murphy, who you had a 1st round pick on, or it might be Osai, right? And now Cedric Johnson, no chance of him ever getting on the field. I don't think that Josh Uche is changed. See, the Chiefs did that because they recognize we need a little bit more juice. We're 7-0. We going and we got a Minihue coming back. We about to light these boys up. We one piece away.
Yeah.
Trade deadline is not to try to salvage and show face to it. I think they would do that. And the fans, if we were to lose a game or two, would be like, you bums. All y'all did was just go get Josh Uche. It wouldn't be enough. And that's what, to me, if the Bengals, that's why I kept on saying the Bengals would have had to beat that Eagles team and show them that we're better than damn near every team in the NFC. All that stuff early on was just the defensive line. We're healthy now. We packed them up. Burrow and them went crazy. We scored 20-something, 30 points. And we're just one piece away. Like, our cornerback room is bad. Let's go trade for JC Horn. That's a more realistic one for me. Let's go trade for JC Horn. I'll give up a 3rd, 4th round pick, whatever it takes right now to give him, and I go get that. And now we're back. We got JC Horn, and see, they're not there, bro. They're too far away. So now you're at a point where you're like, all right, I'm about to go trade these picks or trade up it. And then the Bengals end up winning 7 games and get the 15th, 18th pick in the draft. And you're like, damn, I wish I had that 4th, 5th round pick again because our roster sucks. Because now all the guys that are about to leave, like the Cincinnati kid and BJ Hill and all these guys like that you can move on from, you now got to fill all of those spots. And that was the dangers of losing that game. That's why on that show, I kept on saying, bro, they got to win. If y'all want them to go and do a trade. Now bro, we're a fire sale team right now. Like,
it's the
Higgins thing is real. That's real.
I get what you're saying. I just think other teams are a little different, man. And I hate the Steelers. I don't like to bring them up. But I literally watched the Steelers start off 1-4. And instead of waiting and keeping a pick that likely would have been their quarterback of the future, they went and traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick, and it saved their season. Like, they started off, like, honestly, when you seen them do it, I was criticizing them. I'm like, bro, this is stupid because you're basically giving away a top 10 pick. And after they made the trade, like, he literally transformed their defense, bro. Like, so I get it. I just wish they had that mentality of not being like, okay, it's already a wrap, but it is what it is.
I wish they would have had that mentality in the offseason coming into this instead of cutting a franchise running back, one of the greatest running backs in Bengals history, to save $1.8 million just to do nothing with it. I wish they would have.
The craziest thing is we're talking about the savior of our pass rush being a dude that they drafted in the 7th round.
I wish that they would have took the money with the extra $11 million in cap space and signed DJ Reader and Sheldon Rankins. And then I think you unlock Sheldon Rankins. But we're so far gone that they made so many missteps and they didn't do enough in the offseason because they like, we got all these draft picks. We just going to throw bodies at the position, and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase going to just work it out, and it's not working out.
Yeah, somebody said Minkah's a top 5 safety. At the time, he wasn't. Like, at the time, Miami was trying Minkah out at, like, corner and stuff like that. He really didn't have a role, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers grabbed him and turned him into a top safety in the league.
Right.
But
shit, the argument, another person that people would say we should trade for is Javon Holland, ironically, who's on the Dolphins.
You know what's nastier than that? Chase Young. Chase Young would be nasty.
He's washed.
Let's move. He better than Sam Hubbard. I say that.
That's true.
Let's move on to the offense, though, bro. Offense, bro. I'm so confused by this offense the last couple of weeks. I get it. Like, on the surface level, going into the game, I'm like, all right, offense not having T. Higgins, maybe they struggle a little bit. But I felt like the game plan that they had was amazing. Like, for them to come in, for you to play Jermaine Burton, for you to utilize Mike Gesicki, for you to keep Jamar Chase in the slot so that they can't eliminate him with one of their outside corners, was an amazing game plan. The run game didn't work. Like, I think that they tried to establish the run. It just never has really worked the last couple of weeks. Like, the Bengals don't really have a run game itself. But I thought that they had a good approach, and I thought that the execution worked early, but they keep running into a wall when it comes to the offense. And I'm not sure if I don't really think I could put it on the personnel. I don't think that I can, because I think when you talk about, sure, for the defense, yeah, they don't have the best players over there. But on the offense, like, you went offense heavy. You went and got an Amarius Mims. You went and paid all of this money for your offensive line. You have weapons out there that you drafted with high draft picks. When you talk about Jamar Chase, talk about Jermaine Burton, you went and paid and got a Mike Gesicki. You have an Eric All, who contributed, finally had his first offensive explosive play over the weekend. They have more on offense than they do on defense, yet we're not getting the returns that we kind of expected, like, especially after we saw this team at one point go for 30 in 3 straight games, and now it's like we can't get 20 points. Offense?
I feel like the wide receivers and the weapons, when you give them the ball out in space, they're dangerous. Like the Bengals, this is the crazy thing about the Bengals could score like 50 points, like if they had a competent, like how I was just talking about the defensive trenches. I feel the same way about the offensive line. Mims and Orlando Brown, those, hey, that's what I want to, like, they're cool with me. The rest of the 3, Volson is too inconsistent. Karras is undersized for our division, and Kappa is probably one of the worst offensive linemen on our line, because he had one really good game earlier this season, but I feel like that's a big problem. So some of the 4th down conversations we were talking about, and you were like, man, their run game efficiency on short yardage stuff is horrible. So you were like, the offense was looking good. Yeah, they were passing the ball, and they can't run. And the only real run that they had the whole entire game was the Chase Brown touchdown later in the game, right? You know, this is the number one thing this is the main reason why I wanted Burton to play, right? But I want Burton, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase on the field at the same time. At the same time. And it's going to go crazy. It's going to go crazy. But the only reason why it's going to go crazy, because Burrow going to get the ball out so fast, because I have no faith in the offensive line. Some of that stuff, like how you were saying 4th and 7, in the back of my mind, I think I feel that way because subconsciously I don't trust the offensive line to hold up in a big spot like that. Every time that they're
in pass blocking, or are you talking about pass blocking? They've been one of the best teams.
I don't trust them in a crucial spot. Very different. Throughout from the 20 to 20, cool. Whenever it's a time to go get a big play, when it was time to go get a big play week 1 in the Patriots game, they failed us, right? We had a ball, 1:34. Joe Burrow could have gained down the whole field, failed us. When they had a chance to close out the Chiefs, they had the ball. They ran 5 plays, got 17 yards or something. Yoshi had to drop, cool, whatever. Offensive line looked weak, had to punt the ball back to Pat Mahomes. We come back to there's another game in there too. I want to say Commanders or Ravens, one of them games. Joe Burrow has another chance to go close them out. He does throw the pick in the Ravens game, but even in the Commanders game, there are different spots where the offensive line, I don't trust them. When the defense knows that they're passing, I don't trust them. Their short yardage run game efficiency is horrible. One of the biggest stats that people were telling me early in the season, they're like, Chase Brown is fine. He's an upgrade and stuff. I'm like, I think he's a really good running back. Nothing against him. But check this out. When you go watch the Ravens, go watch the Lions play, go watch when they go down the field. It's not third down. It's like big play on second down. They don't even see a third down. On the first play, and check this out. This might be our best drive all season. Burrow was 7 for 7 on third down. Do you know how risky that is in the form of trying to keep that? That's not a sustainable product. Every time that you get on the field, you have to have a tight window throw on third down. It's too hard for Joe Burrow. That's why his QBR is so high, because he's doing things that nobody else is doing on third down in those spots, right? Because they're so tough. He's under pressure and all that stuff. They're never putting him in a position where on second down, it's just a wide open screen like we saw when Jake Browning came in and Chase Brown's taking off 60 yards. We need that offense to make this whole thing move. It's not sustainable. And that's the number one problem. And the only quick fix I have for that, because you're not going to be able to upgrade the interior offensive line. The only quick fix is to take everybody back to LSU and go give them weapons of mass destruction. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Burton, Gesicki, right? And so people will be like, why you want Burton out on the field? Because I need guys that can get open real fast and make plays real quick, just like at LSU, because the interior offensive line is not good enough to, like, when we go to play the Steelers and they couldn't handle the Eagles, like, bro, they're not good enough for that.
That's the only.
Joe got to be like, bow, 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 bow. And it got to be weapons. It can't be Trent Irwin out there. He got to be cooking, like, with weapons. And all the people that be like, you got to wait and he's got to learn a playbook. No, he has to cook with weapons out. What do ops tell us all the time? They be like, Joe Burrow won't be nothing without his weapons. Well, you damn right, I got some. So we got to put them all out on the field. If Burton only knows one route, but he does know more than one route. But let's say he only knows one route. Send him on a go and make the safety respect that. Now I got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins underneath and doing whatever I want. And that's the whole plan. And all the people that be like, well, we're 5th EPA per play. It's not sustainable. The only thing that's sustainable is the talent that we can get out there on the field that they have the opportunity to go and cook with. The people that are blinded by these numbers and all this other stuff like that, you aren't watching other teams play football. Those teams do not get themselves in third down. It's not sustainable. And that's my main problem.
Yeah, so before we get back into the offense, we're launching a new exciting promotion with BETUS. If you guys aren't taking advantage of it, they're offering 150% on the first deposit, 125 on the next two, just with the promo code YouTube150. As you guys know, man, we rock with BETUS. Right now, they have some specials going on. As Monday Night Football is on right now, you can do some live betting, so make sure that you head on over to BETUS for sure and check them out. And also, we want to talk to you guys with our sponsor from Manscaped, so we'll let that roll right now. All right, guys, it's the best time of the year. Football's back. We're talking Sundays, college football Saturdays, and glorious grind of fantasy football lineups. This is where your inner GM comes alive, setting the perfect fantasy roster, screaming at your TV, and making last-minute waiver moves that either make you a hero or the guy that everyone ridicules in the group chat. But listen, while you're over there making sure your fantasy team is dialed in, don't let your personal grooming become the guy that gets you left on the bench. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to fumble their grooming routine, and that's where Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0 Ultra comes in, acting as your all-in-one grooming playbook. From keeping things sharp down there below the Lawnmower 5.0 to taking care of those rogue ear and nose hairs with the Weed Whacker 2.0, this is the lineup that'll keep you looking like a champ on and off the field. Join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by heading to manscaped.com using the code WINCY for 20% off and free shipping. Trust me, you'll be drafting the real MVP this season. Yes, sir. Shout out to Manscaped. Go ahead and use that promo code WINCY over at your checkout there to get right. Yeah, bro. A lot of what you were saying on the offense is completely right, man. The only thing that's crazy to me, bro, from a pass blocking standpoint, is it's the Eagles, bro. Like, it's the Eagles. They had one sack against the Bengals all yesterday.
Yeah. I still don't trust them. I don't trust them.
I think we have PTSD. I don't trust them in the run game. Like, okay.
I don't trust them in I don't trust them in a key spot when I need it, because every single time the Chiefs game, the Patriots game, Commanders, there was a couple drives in there. Like,
I would argue those might be better defenses, bro. They might be better pass rushers on that. But I get what you're saying. I just got upset because I kept watching them try to run the ball and run into a wall. And I feel like I've been watching that same thing happen for like 3 straight seasons. Like, and that's why, like, I got so upset about the Mixon thing, because it's not a Mixon thing. It's a Bengals run game thing where they just run into. And to me, like, the definition of insanity is continuing to do the same thing over and over again. Zach Moss and Chase Brown are averaging 2 yards per carry. Why are we running into this wall on 1st and 2nd down and creating those 3rd and longs, like you said, where Joe Burrow has to be the savior every single down? Like, it just, to me, bro, if passing the ball is what you do and the run isn't working, you got to abandon it. And I know that we get mad at Zach and we say, Zach, run the ball. But when
Yeah.
it's not working, bro,
it's no point.
Air it out.
All you're doing is hurting yourself. I think I seen somebody say that earlier today and say, what good is running the ball if you're just running for 1.7, 2.2 yards a carry? Like, you're just helping out the opposition.
The defense. Remember, bro, I didn't mean to cut you off, but remember when we were at the Super Bowl and we kept watching the Rams force the run, and we're like, you're not running on this. Like, good luck, but that's not working. You're helping us out for real.
And on the opposite end, we were running the football really damn good, but there's a coach that decided to stop running the ball even after your quarterback got his MCL sprain in front of millions of people. You decided to still drop back and pass when Mixon is averaging 6 yards a carry. I'm old enough to remember that we didn't have Mixon on the field on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. We couldn't get 1 yard. Y'all know that how crazy that sounds in 2024 that we're still at the same exact spot. We ran a Philly special the following year because you couldn't run the ball in short yardage stuff. And all of these quarterbacks, like even Josh Allen, Cook is now heating up. Lamar Jackson got Derrick Henry, and he got Keaton Mitchell about to come back, and he got the young kid Ali. Bro, they got 4 running backs ready to go. All of these quarterbacks that are throwing the ball well, they all have some semblance of a run game. Let me ask you this. What was your expectation for the run game coming into the season? Because mine wasn't high. It wasn't even high,
bro. Like these people that were talking about we upgraded, no the hell we didn't. We didn't upgrade in personnel at all. Like, you went from Joe Mixon to Zach Moss. Like, that's not an upgrade. Like, I know.
Be clear. You went from Joe Mixon and Chase Brown. That's very important to say.
That's very important because it was Joe Mixon and Chase Brown. Like, I get that, but that is not an upgrade. You ask anybody outside of Cincinnati without a bias, that was not an upgrade. So, like, I get where people were going. Like, they wanted to go to a committee approach. But the issue always was Zac Taylor doesn't run the ball enough. The scheme sucks. They never get any kind of explosive runs from anybody in it. And it's never in conjunction in lining up with the passing game. There's never a threat. Like, if you run a play action and you're the Cincinnati Bengals, no defense is biting on that. I'm sorry. Like, they're not expecting you to get anything on the run, on the ground running. So, like, for me, like, I expected the run game to be mid, like it always is. Like, Zac Taylor's not giving nobody 20 carries in a game. Like, we know that. Like, I like Chase Brown for the fit. And the thing that always upset me as well is people discounted how good Joe Mixon was in the pass game. Like, people discounted that he was sometimes like the 3rd or 4th receiver within the offense. And I feel like that's what they need to do with Chase Brown. We need to see more screens. We just need to realize we're a passing team, dog. And, like, honestly, unless you're talking about being in the red zone, that's really been the only place that the Bengals run game is successful when we're talking about Zach Moss and Chase Brown. Outside of that, nah, bro. I didn't expect us to be a running team. Like, no, I didn't expect us to be better.
I think a lot of people were drinking this Kool-Aid of, like, well, Mixon gets dropped down too early. I was literally posting stats about Mixon being had the highest rate of running back being hit behind the line of scrimmage. And people were like, yeah, he needs to break tackles. Like, what are you on, drugs?
Bro, these guys running too. Like, it was so frustrating to see them get 3 or 4 yards at max.
Hey, bro.
At max.
So, look, my expectation coming into the season is what you're just saying. We're a passing team. I don't know did anybody think that, like, y'all tell me in the crowd, did anybody think that we were going to get Chase Brown and Zach Moss and suddenly, because even I mean, I know Mixon Cutters, like, y'all reinvented yourselves and y'all tell everybody, like, well, it wasn't that we were talking about Mixon. We were like, no, I got you. You didn't believe in Mixon and you thought he sucked. So, like, stay right there. Did anybody think that Mixon and Chase Brown and Zach Moss, we were going to come back and now we were like going to run for 100-something yards? See, me, I understood what they were doing to a certain extent because Zach Moss is a better pass protector. I feel like he's the new P-Ron. People were proposing it, though, because you only saved $1.8 million. They proposed it initially, and then now they had to regroup because now Zach Moss is now statistically the worst running back in football. I hope everybody knows that.
And you still spent money on the position. So your cop-out can't be, I don't want to pay a running back because you paid Zach Moss.
You paid Zach Moss and you only saved like 1.8, right? So check this out. So so I was like, cool. We saved a little bit of money, and then I ain't gotta fight mixing cutters every day of my life on the app anyway. And shout out to the lady that blocked me, the little puppet master lady. But moving forward, what I was saying is like, I don't know if people realize that it was always the scheme, and it was always the things that didn't work with the scheme that held Mixon back. And I think everybody's getting a firsthand look at like what it looks like with Mixon with an under center, run game and all these different things. My belief coming into the season, the Bengals would average like 60, 70 yards a game, probably be like 24th, 25th in the run game, but be efficient, right? Because they told us Dan Pitcher was going to change up that, and it was just efficiency. I'm like, Burrow going to throw 30-something times a game minimum, and we're going to throw the ball. To watch this play out and watch people just scramble and now try to put Mixon versus Chase Brown is like a mind-blowing thing. Because Chase Brown literally was on a roster with Joe Mixon. What are y'all talking about? Like, they be like, you trying to tell me Chase Brown? Like, no. You could have had Chase Brown and Mixon. It's very important that you make sure when these cutters now reinvent themselves, they talk about Mixon versus Zach Moss. Any game that Mixon has played in this season, he's had over 100 yards in any of those games. So you can't tell me talent-wise that Zach Moss is better, and you did that for $1.8 million. I hope that this is a learning lesson for our fan base, that anytime that you have a player that's top 10 in his position group, a front office that is unwilling to go out in the free agent market and dip and dabble and spend real money, and you get a top 10 player at any position group, you need to hold on to that guy, because you guys are not drafting guys to develop to replace them. You are not getting guys. You are not getting guys that are better through free agent acquisition or the draft. So if you're sitting there and you're now saying, well, no, what's just Trey T. Higgins? You're lost in the sauce. You're doing the same thing. Anytime the Bengals get any player, top 5 at their position group, sign them. Sign them right then. Because if you traded them, your front office is not drafting people that are better, and they're not replacing them with people that are better. So, like, if you get a Jesse Bates, you get a Mixon, you get a DJ Reader, you need to keep them and stop telling people all these stupid stats on why that person isn't good while they're here. And when they're gone, you're going to sit here every single week, and you Mixon cutters going to have to look at this ugly face and say, God damn, he won't let it go. I won't. And I won't let T. Higgins go if you were all to let him go. And I'm not going to let him go, just like all of the Jesse Bates guys still pop up on my timeline every day. Nobody's going to let that go. So if you're tired of that, then make sure that the next time you get a player that's top 5 at their position group, you keep them, or you're going to hear people like me tell you you're stupid. That's how that's going to work moving forward. And I'm not letting up. And I know that you hate that, but I'm sorry. You told me that he was washed, and y'all told me that a lot of these people were not good anymore. I'm old enough to remember they told us that Jesse Bates wasn't really that good. He couldn't really tackle. Now look at you. Every single day. Now, every day, now you're looking at that. We have to, as a fan base, continuously say we're collectively going to go all in on all the players that ball out for this team, because that's all we got. If you don't keep those guys, what are you going to do? Stop trying to cook our own players. You're making it easy for the front office to say, yeah, we don't got to pay that guy. What y'all going to do when Jamar Chase have a bad game? Y'all going to say he bad, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to be like justifying not paying Jamar Chase? Stop making it easy for the front office to get out of here.
I don't understand cooking the staff and talking about Zac Taylor doesn't know what he's doing, and then you're cooking the players like that staff has to put in position to be successful. Like that's the part I don't get. You know what Joe Mixon is now for us? He's another hole that the Bengals have to fill. That's what Zach Moss is, because Zach Moss isn't the answer. You're going to be talking about draft time next season now. Okay, now we got to fill a running back position. Like, and is it even going to work? Is it even going to work in this offense? Because that's not the issue.
Without a run game coordination.
The issue is the system. The issue is your run game coordinator. who is Frank Pollock, who hasn't done, excuse me, bro, he hasn't done shit. Like, he hasn't done shit with the run game. And this is how many seasons in? Why are you thinking that it's the players at this point? It's not the players. But with that said, that's gonna bring.
Can I ask you something real quick though?
What's up?
You know I rock with Troy Walters or whatever, right? I just want to ask you real quick. Nobody thinks that it's important. Like, what? How could this dude Burton be here all of this time, and nobody thinks it's funny that like people that was at the game was telling me
he doesn't know the plays, man. He just
got actual plays,
bombs and games and makes game changing plays, but he doesn't know the plays, them. So keep him off the field.
But this is my question to you though. At no point has anybody said that a coach. Why isn't the coach got him up to speed on any of this stuff? Yeah, like it's just him. Like I mean, I'm with the whole crowd of you're a professional. You should know. I don't know his intellect. I don't know. I don't have the best memory. But I'm just asking a question. Like, you don't think that the wide receiver coach, like, when was the draft in March, April, or something like April?
Yeah.
May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 7 months later. Nobody helped him. Like, we're 7 months in and nobody really like coached him up so that he would know where he was supposed to be every time. Like, I just think that that's kind of crazy. Like, to me, my viewpoint on coaching is very different than a lot of people on the internet. I view coaching as you need to go above and beyond to go and get every resource out of someone. That's like me walking into a classroom and the teacher says, yeah, I ain't teaching that dude. He ain't trying to learn. You know how crazy you would sound? Like if my fourth grade teacher, Miss Tyler, shout out to you. If you didn't come and say, I know that this kid is smart, like I'm gonna work with him. He's a little off, but I'm gonna work with him. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what teaching is, isn't it?
Yep. It's supposed to be like, and the thing about the Burton situation that gets me is you've seen it. You saw it all in the preseason. You saw it in the Chiefs game on one of the biggest stages. You've seen this guy deliver. And I'm not trying to hate on anybody else on the team, but it's a lot of receivers in that room that know the playbook, know the plays and all of that have not delivered. Like, to me, like the stupidest thing to me, bro, is what was Jermaine Burton's average? Do you know what the number of like his average was in college per catch?
Bro, it's like the highest.
40 yards. What does that tell you? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what kind of routes he ran in college, right? He ran go routes. Like, all you have, like, bro, this is the funniest thing because everybody was trashing Burton yesterday, and then I turn on the All 22, and I see the defensive coordinator for the Eagles literally put 3 people on Jermaine Burton, the guy that you guys are saying should not be on the field because he doesn't know the plays. Their defensive coordinator, who has not seen this man at all this season, put 3 people over the top. And shout out to Joe Goodberry for putting all of that stuff out there on Burton, showing him wide open. And this is like, people are like, oh, well, he's not going to change the season. So you don't think he should have played in the Ravens game? You don't think he should have played more in the Chiefs game?
Hey, look, you don't think he should have played more you know the Eric All play that you talked about? Do y'all know how Eric All got open on that play? Burton over the top, taking the safety with him with Eric All going to the out. Like, bro, like
had a touchdown, and I'm hearing people on my timeline talk about him messing up the route. That wasn't an interception, by the way. So if it wasn't an interception, sure. I'm hearing more of that than
bro. It was just miscommunication. And I'll be the first one to own this, bro. I'll own this. Say he don't know all the routes. There is no argument that you have to say that your coaching staff shouldn't be doing everything in their ability to get this guy out on the field in some capacity. I don't have to run from, let's say he don't know. We don't know, but there was miscommunication on the one throw. But people online like, man, it was like 2 or 3 throws. No, you were wrong. It wasn't. I watched the whole tape. He only went out on 15 pass plays in there. The one was the one right before the halftime where there was miscommunication. Joe talked to him right after the thing. But again, I go back to coaching. This guy is really good. And you took a risk and you took him in the 3rd round. For y'all to now sit back and say, oh, well, I mean, I don't know about him. you're going to have to wait a little bit. Don't y'all think that's a little crazy for a coach that said we created a monster and stood on the table and pounded and said, this is the guy that I want here? You have to do what it takes out of your body, go above and beyond. The most special people in the world have to go above and beyond their pay grade and above and beyond to make sure that you get the most out of your business, success, whatever you want to do in life. This is a life lesson for real to me. If that guy is that talented and you're not trying to get him involved with your program and make him an asset, then you're failing yourself, you're failing your organization, and any excuse to justify why that guy can't get out on the field is a bad one because you're not interested in having the best resources come and help your company. Does that make sense to everybody? Like, there is no argument against that. The argument would be, oh, he doesn't know, like whatever, cool. But I'm just telling you, that's the makings of something that it doesn't work, bro. I don't want to make this like drawn out anymore. That doesn't work.
What doesn't make sense to me, bro, is we drafted Amarius Mims, right? Right? Where did he play at in college? Like, me and you aren't big on college football, but where did he play in college?
He played tackle.
At what school?
Georgia. Big Georgia.
Did he start?
Yeah, for
No. He didn't start. Majority of his career, he didn't start. Why? Because there was a lot of talent there.
Yeah.
So you don't think Jermaine Burton, who was able to start at Alabama and Georgia, premium college programs with tons of NFL talent, he was able to start there, but he can't get snapped for the Cincinnati Bengals? He can't. Make that make sense to me. It don't make sense.
And the wide receivers there, and I'm gonna tell y'all, like, this the crazy thing. Before the season, I was really high on our wide receiver groups. After watching Yoshi drop, the pass this past week,
I thought we upgraded wide receiver. I thought we upgraded. Like, respect to Tyler Boyd. When we got Jermaine Burton.
Yeah,
I thought it was a new Migos,
but you can. This the part that it's a couple fundamental things that people are missing in this. The coaching philosophy, the concept of coaching is a disconnect with me and probably 1,000 other Bengals fans. That's just like, if he doesn't know the play, that's not good enough for me. You see what I'm saying? So we're not going to agree. The second thing is this: when he is out there, he helps everybody around him. And so that in itself unlocks T. Higgins. That in itself unlocks Chase. Right now, currently, as it stands, Yoshi knows the playbook. Trent Irwin knows the playbook, but they're not unlocking anybody. In fact, they're making it easier for your team to get game plan on. So when you're telling these things, when you're saying that these things are not working or whatever, or the offense needs to do this or whatever like that, you can't then come back and say, well, he don't know the playbook and stuff. Why would I even care about a playbook for a coach that 95% of y'all saying y'all don't even want him there? Does that make sense? The contradictions on this app and online on YouTube, these are crazy contradictions. And on one end, you're saying you don't even like the coach, but then you'll go to bat for him to protect a stance or a coping mechanism for a legit reason or some kind of legitimacy that you're looking for not playing Burton. I'm going to tell you straight up, if Burton would have played week 1, I think your chances of winning that game are a little bit better. With no T. Higgins, that's a game you just wasted. And you're just like, oh, well, I mean, maybe next year. Like, it's a 3rd round pick.
We all saw
like,
how
what?
Offense, like, that was another thing people were wrong on. We don't need T. Higgins, trade him in the offseason, this and that. You weren't saying that when you saw the Bengals offense week 1 and week 2. So T. Higgins being out of the offense, Burton should have been a guy that you used as a T replacement to at least unleash Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is going to see double and triple teams if T. Higgins is not in the game. So you have to put Jermaine Burton in. And we're not saying anything new. We were saying this from before the season started. You have to put Jermaine Burton in there to get cloud coverage off of Jamar Chase. He just had 3 people on him yesterday in the Eagles game. That's why. That is why. Yeah.
I don't know if we raised the super chat.
Care, bro. I got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I'm going on 4th and 7.
All right. No, I'm just all right. So Shofakul Alam. I'm sorry if I did not pronounce that correctly. Ace is on something else. 4 for 7, no way, bro.
Yeah, I'm on something else. I'm on that 9.
On that 9ism.
That
Matt Nation, appreciate your super chats. Zim, I talked about this on Twitter with your live. No team celebrations and the guys seem lost. No chemistry. Taylor lost the locker room. Do you believe that, Ace?
Yeah, I think we there now, man. I mean, there's no more excuses. I even seen Joe yesterday complain about the short yardage conversions.
I don't think he's lost the entire locker room, but I tweeted about this earlier. I think by them not signing guys and stuff, I don't feel like the team feels uniform. I feel like they all feel like they're temporary hires because nobody is getting signed. Like the guys that are the big dogs, they didn't get signed. And I just feel like they're all auditioning for their next team.
It's like a contract. It's like contract work, bro. It's
exactly.
Like you're on like a 4-year contract. Like you don't know like if you're gonna end up with a long-term job here.
That's exactly what it. Yep. Herman says, appreciate you for your super chat as well. Herman says all these high draft picks on defense not being developed, someone has to be held accountable. I'm seeing other teams have less talent than us perform.
That's true.
1000% agree. Like you cannot miss on these high draft picks. Like Dax Hill, I thought he was coming into his own, but it hasn't panned out. It hasn't been right, bro. And then Miles Murphy, like you can't miss on first round draft picks.
Miles Murphy is another one. Miles Murphy know the playbook. He can't get on the field though.
Is there another one I can't click or something?
Yeah, there's a couple other ones. So the aura is gone that we had before is gone.
Curtis Tucker.
Joe still got it, but I don't know if we got it as a team.
I don't know. Some of that aura took a hit when he was at that presser. He looked like he was defeated.
He did. DJ Mister, to be honest, if we do fire Zach, where do they go?
Scared, bro.
You know where I want to go. I want to go to Detroit and go and get that offensive coordinator.
You want to go get Benny boy.
Are they going to pay the money though?
This is the problem. They're not going to get nobody that's not a yes man. I tweeted this like yesterday. If they're not a yes man, if they're not a Zac Taylor PR guy, I don't know Ben Johnson's personality. I would take the coordinator from the Texans. I would take a bunch of. I don't know if that would really work with us. A lot of under center stuff. I would take a lot of guys over Zac Taylor, right?
Yeah.
The Bengals ain't trying to pay, and the Bengals definitely not accepting nobody that wants any bit of control over that draft war room. None.
And they're gonna have to be a scout too. At the same time, you're gonna have to be a coach and a scout. But once again, shout out to BETUS, man, for sponsoring the show. They've been rocking with us, sponsoring us this whole season. So shout out to them. Make sure you guys go and play some bets with them. They got some pretty dope stuff going on. You guys know that we also always have the Wincy Play of the Week. So make sure you check that out, man. I don't know. Who do we pick for the first touchdown score? Did we pick? I think I picked Jamar Chase, bro. I think I picked Jamar Chase.
I know you put him on anytime touchdown, right?
Yeah, I put Jamar Chase down. So I think I actually scooped up something this weekend.
AJ Brown didn't.
I'm kind of dub.
AJ Brown didn't score a touchdown, right?
AJ Brown didn't.
Okay.
AJ Brown didn't.
A lot of people watch.
I also had. That's what it was. I had Chase and Saquon. Both of them scored.
Yeah. A lot of people too were commenting on the Steelers and Giants game. When I looked at the box score, Malik Neighbors, although he isn't doing much, had 4 targets in the first quarter of this game. Just so y'all understand, like I don't know. I just don't feel like they utilize everybody. KP from KC, appreciate your super chat. You said they're running this like a Labor Day ready day labor, like a sale out here. Like I don't know what's going on. I don't feel like the cohesion is there.
They said this is like labor ready. Do y'all have labor ready where you from, Zim?
No, where's the
labor ready is like temporary work. Like labor ready like back in the day.
Yeah.
Like they just bring people in.
Matt Nation says, is 7 and 9 doable, Ace and Zim?
7 and 9 is definitely doable.
Are you saying 7 out of 9? 7 out of 9.
7 out of 9?
It's doable. Will the Bengals do it? I don't believe so. I hope they prove me wrong.
If I could say 7 out of 9, bro.
I don't trust this team. I
could probably say 6 out of 9. I could probably go with 6 out of 9. I don't know if I could go 7 out of 9.
You know what the I said this on the show, bro, earlier. I just don't trust that secondary at all. I know that we didn't get no pressure, and I know that the Eagles didn't obliterate them. I just feel like they could have got whatever they wanted, though. I just don't have. I have no faith in the secondary.
Yeah, bro. I don't have faith in the secondary. I don't have faith in Zac Taylor's coaching. I have faith in a lot of things right now. I have faith in Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase enough to say that.
Ain't it crazy though? Don't you feel like they could stop? Like if we had that in a do or die situation, we going up against Pacheco this week coming up. Don't you think they would stop them? Like I feel like the interior. We talked about the run defense so bad, and I feel like it's not even
for 3.5 quarters, bro.
And then they would give up the big run.
The game would break it for like a 50-yard touchdown, and everybody would be like, "Oh, the Bengals' run defense is horrible," because they just looked at a box score.
Bro, somebody wrote this in it. It said CTB regression. I was the main one saying CTB about to be all pro. CTB. I did say he gives up a lot of plays.
I'm gonna be honest with you, because sometimes people aren't privy to the conversations that we have. You have always told me that CTB is a big risk. Like he's either gonna go for the big play and make it, or he's gonna lose the gamble on that.
Right. And he's not a CB1 to me at all. As a CB2, he will be dope, but he is not. Dustin Cross says, appreciate you, my bro. He says, let's also remember Lou had heavy say in the draft in a lot of these players. I do wonder how much of the same page the coaching and front office are or has, I guess.
They're not on the same page, man. I think right now the coaching staff is taking whatever the front office gives them. Yeah, I don't think they have a word in it. I don't think they have a say. That's why you hear Zac Taylor every week say, we like the guys in our room. Like, yeah, you want an edge rusher? Yeah, we got Seth Johnson at home. We got Seth Johnson in this locker room.
We got Max Crosby at home. We got Max Crosby at home right here in Skyline. 2 questions before we part today. I want to ask you this.
Go ahead.
First question: if the Bengals win next week against the Raiders, are we back on? Are we like back in it? Like, like this is crazy.
We are back to. Everybody thinks that we're super positive, right? Because clearly they didn't listen to the first season of Orange is the New Black. We gonna be on that dirty cake type stuff, bro. If they lose to the Raiders, it might be dirty cake time for the OG people that have stuck with Wincinnati from the beginning when we were Orange is the New Black. You probably know what the dirty cake is. It's gonna be dirty cake time. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. The Raiders, and then you talk about the Ravens right after that. Like, nah, I'm not even.
Jesus. There, all right, so no, but my question: let's say we win the Raiders, are we back on to? You feel good about this? Like the Bengals still have a chance? Say they go out there.
I think that they have a chance. I think it's very contingent on beating the Ravens after that. Like, because I'm gonna just be real. Like, they're not sweeping the division. You feel me? Like, obviously we can't sweep the division because we can't gentlemen sweep the division. Right. Basically, lose to the Ravens and just sweep the rest of the division. Like, maybe the Browns.
But don't skip ahead. If we beat the Raiders, are you feeling good about like the Bengals have a shot? Yes or no on that?
Yeah. Okay. I think they have a shot. All right, it's really only because the rest of the AFC is trash, bro.
Trash. All right, my last question before we get out of here. What would it take for Zac Taylor to be fired?
Under 500 season. Joe Burrow to be disgusted at the end of the season that they failed. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I think a lot of people be like, Joe is the only one can get him out of there. I think Jamar can get him out of there too, bro. I feel like AJ Green kind of had a similar kind of power. I think Jamar Chase has that power too. And I think the more stuff that he says in the media and the uglier that it gets, that could pressure the Bengals to be like, all right, these are some really bad headlines. Let's go ahead and move on. Like, this marriage isn't working out. I think that those are the scenarios that make it so that Zac Taylor is not the head coach of the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm with you under 500. And I think I'm going to tell you another one. Say the Browns embarrassed them.
Yeah, with Jameis.
Our front office, I said this the last time we played the Browns. Our front office has a huge disdain for the Browns. So if you're a fire Zac Taylor guy and the Browns come out here and whoop us or something, that could be the one. I think this is the last super chat. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. Appreciate y'all. I think it's people just wanting the show to just continue, so they just get. So Matt Nation says, bro, CTB and Turner never pressing. Those simple curl routes got them looking like we are only playing defense on one side of the field. I feel like they gave everybody cushion on every single third down. I don't know why. If you're not getting pressure, why are you not blitzing? And if you do blitz, or why you got Trey Hendrickson dropping back? I have no faith in them pressing. When they do press, they get cooked. CTB, like I'm telling you, out of everything on the team, I thought that might be third, like in my priority of like this is something we need to address. But once Dax Hill started playing better, I was like, oh, all right, we cool, we good. Secondary for me might be at the top of the list. And the reason why is because anything that the Eagles wanted, they could have got. I thought one Jalen Hurts like 11 for 11 on one part in the game.
Hurts was cooking, man. Hurts could have made
it up, bro.
He could have made a Philly cheesesteak in that backfield. How much time he had, and he was just slicing and dicing, bro. Like we said that going into the game, and I said it as well. I was like, if they can get pressure to Jalen Hurts to make him throw some off-target passes, that's where they win, because the receivers are going to beat these corners at certain times because they're that good. But when he's able to just sit back in a pocket and throw lasers wide open to these receivers, and Cal Katera, bro, like I'm still not over that.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie though. Three Eagles fans told me before the game that they like him. I'm not lying to you. They said he's
Dude was out there looking like Deshaun Jackson, bro.
But I'm gonna tell you, bro, they were like, bro, he's a more athletic version of Goddard. I said, y'all don't got Goddard. It was like Cal Katera, like he's way more athletic. I'm just giving you like he's like their Isaiah Likely, like is what I was told before the game. So I kind of was on radar looking for him a little bit. But I will say this, I'm telling y'all, like it could get ugly for the secondary. But I think Burrow, if they could put Burton on the field with T. Higgins and Chase, I will feel so much better about the offense. And I think
is that not what we had wanted from day one?
Day one, you made a whole shirt. Like this is the plan. And then you rotate the way that they're rotating Burton in is how I thought Burton and Yoshi would rotate off the beginning of the season. No Irwin, no Charlie Jones. Yep. But eventually, if they played in week one, I was like, by week 2, 3, we get Burton as the 3, and then Yoshi be interchanging. And somebody wrote this in the comment section. I think his name was In something. He was like, something about Burton in the slot. No, Burton was never a Tyler Boyd replacement. It's Jamar Chase in the slot. It's Burton on one side, T. Higgins on the other. On another side. And then when you the reason why you do that is now Jamar Chase is lining up all over the place. You got to account for Burton over the top, taking a safety, and then T. Higgins, who's going to one-on-one him? And then you're also getting the transition plan by having Burton on the outside. You're transitioning out of T. Higgins to go into the following year, and now look at you. Now you got your T. Higgins replacement right there on your roster. T. Higgins gets 1,000 yards and you execute a tag and trade and you go get your first, second round pick. And you just developed Burton right before our eyes and you put together the craziest wide receiver trio in the National Football League, and they waited too damn late.
Yeah, they waited way too late, bro. I don't want this show to end.
They waited till T. Higgins got hurt to do it.
I know a lot of people don't want the show to end, me included. Shout out once again.
I gotta put Ooze to bed. I gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta put.
You can keep on doing the show. You just
I gotta put Moon to bed as well. But before we get up out of here, let's holler at Midwest Best Barbecue. Wings and them CTVs. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. The X to the Zim. M to the B's, Uno wings, Jeep on wings, and them CTVs. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Say what up to Jordan Battle, we be doing the battle. Intercepting balls like CTV did on Seattle. Putting 6 up on AZ, Juice Gang amazing. Make sure you come get these wings, cause Zimby stay blazing. And T-Game be smooth as ice, Jamal making DBs fold. TV got big levels, and now you already know. It's so pretty for Uno wings. Cam got the new wings. We call
call them CTBs. Only at MBs. H to the Zim, M to the B's.
Shout out to Midwest Best Barbecue, 669 Justice Court in Loveland, Ohio. Make sure that you guys drown your sorrows in some of those wings that they have over there. I am Ace, he is Zim. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Over 1,000 people watching this live. Appreciate that. Yes, go get the brisket fries. Thank you guys once again for supporting us. We appreciate y'all. We will see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you so much for listening to the Wincinnati Podcast.